Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Boisterous coming to you today with Tuff as we bring you some more oGaming action. Spine down in the bottom left-hand corner, we do have oGaming's representative ScrubbleS as the blue Zerg player of Neo Planet S.
And our player in the top right, from Complexity, we have the STC as our Terran player.
And the STC is actually, he's a pretty high-level player at this point. Like, he's pretty big in the European scene, right?
Yeah, for sure. Very good Terran player for sure. And the lesser-known ScrubbleS I've heard is pretty good too, Boisterous.
Yeah, and you know, oGaming had us do 3 Zerg games this week.
Did they? Oh yeah, PVZ, TVZ, and TVZ, right?
Yeah. And actually, I just realized that the entire replay pack they sent us of like 40 games was from 3 Zerg players.
Ah, there you go.
Man,
oG, the Zerg powerhouse.
The Zerg powerhouse. I mean, especially with Johnny Rico, you know, who's just an impressive Zerg player. I guess they are. I guess that's kind of what they do.
Yeah, we'll have to see if the STC can defeat ScrubbleS, part of the Zerg powerhouse.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like ScrubbleS is going to be going for a 15 hatch, right? ScrubbleS, don't let me down, man. Don't do it. Don't do
ScrubbleS.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it will most certainly be a 15 hatch coming out for ScrubbleS at this point, which is a pretty standard opening for Neo Planet S. Since, you know, you never see a whole lot of early game aggression anymore in TVZ from Terran players. I mean, I haven't seen a bunker rush at above the gold level for like 4 months.
I think that since Protoss got the Mothership Core, Terrans in general have just given up on early pressure and just
like super early pressure. I think they
like,
still
everybody, yeah.
I think they still like rely a lot on like 7-minute timing attacks, but I guess that would kind of be considered more of the mid-gamey level.
Yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, like stuff like, you know, the 2 racks, which was kind of more popular amongst Liberty. You don't get to see that stuff as much anymore, so it's a little bit saddening. But what we are seeing from the SDC is the command center first up here on the high ground.
Definitely a ballsy build. Not too much of a surprise considering that, again, he's playing in the ever low aggression TVZ matchup. So ScrubbleS probably isn't going to be going for any sort of spawning pool before like 19. This is actually a pretty late spawning pool for a map like Neo Planet S. You usually see people go for those a lot earlier.
Yeah, just clearly just hamming out on the macro.
Yeah.
We see him going for gas there as well. So planning on going for speed. And I guess he's going to go double queen immediately off of this, but the spawning pool is a little bit late for that. Is he going to go... I'm curious to see what he's going to spend these extra minerals on.
I think it's going to be double queen.
Yeah, but he's going to have 450.
He's going to have so many minerals, yeah. I mean, it might be double queen, and then those extra minerals will just go into like the first round of injected units.
Right.
Because usually you're a little bit low on minerals when the first injects pop. But at the same time, it could just be for a fast third base.
I'll have to wait and see. We are seeing our Terran player, the STC, go for 2 gases on 22. So probably going to be wanting to go for factory tech after these 2 barrackses. Like that for sure. As you said, 7-minute aggression is pretty popular nowadays in TVZ.
Yeah. You know, I would expect to see some level of Hellion play coming out from the SDC, as that's really kind of the flavor of this year so far. Is very early Hellion aggression coming out, which isn't too much of a surprise. However, these gases are fairly late for something like that.
I'd say they're... I was gonna say they're probably about good for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But he didn't really... He wasn't as quick about it as he possibly could have been. Like, he threw it on this second barracks first, so other than that, it was pretty fast.
Yeah, we do have 8 Zerglings popping out, along with that metabolic boost coming up. We do actually have ScrubbleS going up to 4 queens, so he should be pretty good against any sort of 7-minute push from Hellions, or from Widow Mines, or from Reapers, or from anything like that, basically. We actually have a tech lab coming out from the STC, which is pretty interesting. It looks like it looks like he's going to be going for a bio play with just the side of Hellion pressure early on in the game.
It's not going to be a Marauder. It is going to be the early stim. So this is looking more like a 9-minute type of push. But there comes the engineering bay as well. I don't know how the timing is going to work out, but I feel like this upgrade will not finish in time for stim. We'll have to wait and see, because hopefully the SDC does have this timed out well.
Yeah, I would bargain on the fact that he does. You know, That's what the betting man would do, is that the SDC is a good enough player where he probably has it timed out. He does have a starport now coming out. We are going to see those 2 Hellions in production at this point. No armory on the way, so we won't be seeing any sort of Hellbat play, which is not too much of a surprise, considering that this is a fairly recent game. We do have the bunker down on the low grounds, and with 4 Marines, that should be able to hold off most forms of early aggression, especially considering the fact that we don't actually have a Baneling nest coming out from ScrubbleS.
I think at this point, now that I've seen that the upgrade did actually come down, I'm going to say it's going to be a later push. It's going to be with stim and combat shielding, so we'll have to wait and see how that does work out. But meanwhile, he will be putting on the pressure with these Hellions, just keeping that up, making sure ScrubbleS doesn't get too greedy with this 3rd base. And I think that'll work out for him, basically. A very good start so far for both players.
Yeah, I mean, seeing those Hellions definitely puts a little bit of fire under ScrubbleS' butt, you know, because he doesn't actually have any roaches, which makes it very awkward seeing Hellions. You're like, well, crap. How am I going to hold these guys off without any sort of roach play? Because it basically means you need either a lot of queens or a lot more zerglings. And his queens actually aren't really in position, I should say, to hold off these Hellions. If these Hellions wanted to, they could probably break into the natural.
It looks like his answer at this point pretty much going to be creep spread, as well as you said, Zerglings and Queens.
Yeah.
But the creep spread will definitely help him out in dealing with these Hellions.
Yeah, and just the map in general. I mean, it's a lot of tight spots on this map. It's very actually hard for Hellions to stay off creep if they get close to your base. On a lot of maps, you're going to have little tiny pockets where Hellions can go where they're off creep, or they can kind of hide in spots where, you know, you can kind of swing away from creep. But on a map like Neo Planet S, it's very awkward to try to get close to your opponent's base while also staying off creep, just because there's only really maybe 16 bits of like land where you can actually get into your opponent's base. We have a full surround going down onto those Hellions. Some nice micro from the Medivacs actually managing to pick those things up, so we are going to have this push running in here. It looks like Stim is going to be finishing up, and they will be able to micro quite well away from those Banelings. However, there are just going to be too many Zerglings at this point, and with a nice pickup, this Medevac's actually going to be going right into the main, which is an interesting play.
I kind of like it, but unfortunately there was a rally there anyway.
Zerglings there. And that makes it pretty comfortable for ScrubbleS at this point. Now, of course, the SDC is in an awkward position where his Medevac just kind of has to chill out there because there's not a whole lot of other things it can do. These 2 queens are kind of going to box it out, and it won't really be able to get into either the main or the natural, or the 3rd base, excuse me. So I wouldn't be too surprised to just see it run away fairly soon.
Yeah, the SDC also in an awkward spot back at home as well. The pressure's now off, and he hasn't landed his 3rd base yet. So it might be a little bit difficult for him to actually secure that. We see him trying to move out a little bit with some Marines, but those are being quickly surrounded here by ScrubbleS, forced to pick up and go back behind his wall.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, ScrubbleS is just starting to kind of be dominant in this game. I mean, he does have Banelings. Oh my god, 29 Banelings morphing out right outside of his outside of his opponent's base. But the SDC, with a beautiful game sense, actually sends his Medevac out and sees those guys. Now, the issue is...
What can he do?
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's like, well, I see your 29 Banelings, and I can't do a whole lot against them, so...
Oh, here they come, Boisterous. They've busted down the front door. They're trying to go up the main ramp. And they're not going for the SCV line right now, but those Marines are so squished, they're forced to be put down onto the low ground. Is there going to be enough here for the SDC, Boisterous?
I don't think so. This is a lot of Banelings. And, I mean, these Banelings will basically just force the Marines to be constantly lifting up, which is not a situation you want your Marines to be in. And it looks like, you know, he might be able to hold off with some good SimCitying, but, man, he took a big hit from that attack. And it looks like ScrubbleS just going to be exploiting it and rallying into his opponent's natural.
Yeah, he's trying to do his best to hold here. Losing SCVs. The production hasn't been swamped quite yet, so that's what's kind of keeping him in this game right now.
Yeah.
And it looks like he will be able to push back, but...
I'm surprised ScrubbleS actually pulled back there, considering just the wave of Zerglings he had coming in.
It looks like he wanted to make 27 more Banelings, Boisterous.
Yeah, but I don't know why he's making 27 more Banelings, because these are just expensive units. And I mean, there's Widow Mines on the field, there's Marauders on the field. SDC should be able to hold this off reasonably easily, but that is still a crap ton of Banelings, and it's going to be going right for the Bioforce, and this Bioforce is going to be doing its best. However, there's just so much damage coming in here. Oh my god, so many Banelings. They might finally be going for the SCVs, however, they really just need to start picking off freaking supply depots. To be quite perfectly honest, because just doing that might actually give him enough to win.
Yeah, he's pretty much lost his natural base now.
Yeah.
This third base has gone unscouted until now.
Yeah.
Sterling's arriving, cleaning that up. And I think with that, that'll probably be the end of it, the SDC, basically.
Yeah, I mean, the SDC might be able to hold on for a little bit here, but he's going to have to crawl. He's going to have to claw pretty hard to claw his way back into this game, especially with another 18 banelings on the way to bust down this natural wall again. It's going to be awkward.
Oh my gosh, he just never stops making banelings. There is a drop going on at the third of ScrubbleS, which is doing actually quite a bit of damage. Like that for the SDC, if you're going to come back, that's the way you're going to do it. But meanwhile, Boisterous, as you were saying, his engagement with these banelings is not going his way.
No, not at all, and it looks like these banelings will be coming in for a bust yet again, just smashing right through that wall. Not an issue there. It looks like Widowmine Shot's getting decent damage done, but again, he's going to lose a lot of SCVs here, and he still does not have his high ground ramp walled off. Even though it probably wouldn't matter so much with the amount of banelings on the field. It looks like he will be able to keep this bunker alive barely, which is basically going to be his lifeline right now, but
I wonder what he's going to do now, Boisterous. Do you think ScrubbleS will morph in more banelings? Question mark.
I don't think so, because he does have a Spire done now. I think he's just going to transfer right into Mutalisks, which is the right decision here.
Nah, Boisterous. I'm calling 20 more banelings.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that too. It could really go either way, to be quite perfectly honest.
That's true, that's true. 2-2 did just finish for ScrubbleS. I believe 2-1. Oh, actually 2-2 for the Terran player as well. So staying pretty even on the upgrades, but we'll have to see if the SCC can hold and get his production going again.
Yeah, I mean, really, ScrubbleS just needs Mutalisks to clean up those medevacs, because the only reason the SDC is still alive right now is good pickup micro. That's literally it. If there's literally only one reason, and it's good pickup micro. And he's been just pulling that off magnificently. In big engagements where he should lose everything, he's only losing 4 or 5 Marines, because he's just like, okay, this is not going well. I'm going to pick up, drop down, and heal everybody up to full again. We have another drop swinging around to the left side of the map here, but there is going to be an 8 Marine medevac drop. However, we'll be flying right into creeped territory and right towards 11 hatching Mutalisks.
He doesn't even need the Mutalisks, he's just going to clean this up with the Queens, basically, but looks like it does make it into that natural base.
Yeah,
we'll be shot down by that Queen, though.
Yeah, those 3 Marines might be able to do some decent damage. They at least get the information that the Spire's done, but they don't know about any sort of finished Mutalisks, so he actually doesn't really know the timing. So it looks like these 11 Mutalisks will be able to get in here, and there are absolutely no missile turrets because the SDC has to cut so many corners to try to get his way back into this game, and this is going to be quite a bit of damage. It looks like he did manage to snipe off every one of those mules, and he managed to kill off 3 Widow Mines, which is a lot for a group of Mutalisks like that. The drop's going to do its best, but I really don't think this drop's going to be able to do enough.
Yeah, the question is, will the SCC ever even be able to move out now? Yeah. He's kind of just stuck in his base. He does need those missile turrets. Throwing down 1 now, but I don't know. I think this Mutalist flock is just going to get out of control fairly quickly.
Yeah, and I mean, even if it doesn't, he doesn't really need it to. I mean, he has such a lead as far as economy and as far as Zerglings go. So we're going to see these Zerglings sweeping in, and we will finally have maybe a fatal engagement for the SDC happening here. But the SDC, man, this guy knows how to hold on to a game.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job. Looks like he will save this third base. I'm thinking unless his Marines do not go over there, I don't think they are. They might just be allowed to burn, but oh no, looks like he's gonna be caught out here. Oh, taking a healing hit.
So many huge bailing hits, and the pickups just are not there on the medevacs here. So we will finally see the SDC's entire army going down, and I actually don't think he has the defense to hold this off, and he's gonna be forced to call the GG.
Yeah, just kudos to the SDC though. Like the amount of times we're like, he's dead, and then it's like he held. He's like the new Tarzan, basically. But.
Yeah, I think we called him as dead at like the 12-minute mark, and they just held on for 8 minutes. Like just by the skin of his teeth every engagement. And I think it really has to do with that beautiful pickup and drop-off micro that he really showcased that game.
But yeah, ScrubbleS just proven to be too much of a macro beast for the SDC to handle. And if you guys have any feedback for me about my casting, follow me on Twitter at SC2_Tuffy. That's Tuffy. And where can people find you, Boisterous?
If anyone wants to find any other videos I commentate, they can check it out over at youtube.com/BoisterousSC2. I do games from every sort of league, and I'm gonna start probably posting like one or two videos from oGaming a week over there. So yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be fancy. So anyway, Tuff, this is Boisterous.
And I'm Tuff.
And we're signing out.